Hi, I wanted to just sort of record something in advance of the actual start of the episode. This is going to get pretty heavy, by the way. I'm about to bring up some really serious systemic issues, so like if you're not in a place for that mentally, just sort of skip to about 6 minutes ahead where the actual episode will start. But I kind of needed to front load this at this point in the game because during the conversation with Jess, where she talks about her forced sterilization by the government, essentially, there was something I sort of stopped myself from bringing up as a gay man, because I was trying to remember a name. It was the name of a notable person in history was forced to undergo chemical castration because basically it was found out that he was gay, which was literally illegal at the time. When I wrapped up recording, like a couple of minutes after, I had a real sinking feeling about whose name I was half remembering, so I googled him, and yes, the man I was thinking of was Alan Turing. The man who was given a choice between basically a prison sentence or chemical castration for being gay, chose the latter, and then I believe eventually committed suicide. I'm a little angry. Like, they named ostensibly their main character after this man. And I don't know if I'm angrier at the idea that they somehow didn't know this, or that they did, and still went ahead and did this. And this is why I've kept bringing up throughout the process of the series. There is an inherent problem using allegory to talk about bigotry when you're not addressing actual bigotries that currently exist. Because, like, we've seen in this game, like, gay people, non-binary people are just sort of out and about. No one feels the need to comment on it. Like, those societal bigotries do not appear to exist in this world. They are not evidenced, certainly at any point so far. But they still wanted to have a story about bigotry, ostensibly. And that on its own already feels like someone saying, well, obviously we wouldn't show this happening to our group of people, but we are going to have it happen to someone for the purposes of this story. And that's a red flag in and of itself. And then on top of that, now, you've created what is clearly intended to be, a very queer-friendly environment. And now you've created this character to lecture this room full of queer people on the subject of forced sterilization, when your main fucking character is named after Alan Cocking Turing. You can't see this, obviously, but I'm flailing my arms around right now as a substitute for the words I am choking on currently. Like, did nobody turn to someone else and just say, are we sure? Like, are we sure this is how we want to present this? I'm gonna keep going with it. I want an opportunity to be wrong, but I've got to be honest. my expectations narratively of this game have plummeted at this point. Because, again, I've brought it up a couple of times up until now, there is a common problem in the cyberpunk genre, and we have to acknowledge that. Like, I genuinely don't know if I trust these writers at this point. But I'm gonna see this through to its conclusion. But, like, I can't not address it, I guess, is the thing. So, I've got that off my chest now. That's sort of front-loaded here. Time to go and single-handedly dismantle a 1,000-strong protest somehow, I guess? Right, time to go get both sided by a eugenicist cult. Here we go! What's on your map tonight? The police. The market. They're scrumping down the... I actually don't know if I'm emotionally ready. Do I want to... Oh, that's just where we are, I guess, is where Turing's face is. Should I check in with my egg friend? Where's me friend pile of forms? Can I access my friend?
Welcome to the Neo San Francisco Richmond District Police Station, citizen.
I want to make sure.
Today? Please give me a few moments to get in contact with Detective Rivers.
I want to touch base with Detective Rivers
Thank you
because
for your patience, citizen.
This next part may involve
Detective
some
Rivers
crafty dangers.
Please have a seat.
Thank you.
Hey again. What can I do for the two of you?
I need assistance in how to stop the world.
Since I don't have anything else on my plate in a major city full of crime in the middle of a culture war.
Woohoo.
I'd berate you for wasting my time, but frankly, I needed a break anyway. Other than being overworked and underpaid, I'm doing just fine. It's been a while since we've just hung out, so what do you want to know?
I thought... We've already got the answer to that question, but I'll have a go.
It was a lot of reasons.
Many
I don't know
reasons.
If you remember that incident back home, the hybrid ex-Marine that was murdering people? Well, I couldn't tell you back then, but that was my case. I kind of threw myself into it too hard. Made it too personal. Broke too many rules. The chief had my back, but I felt I'd burned too many bridges. It's a small city, and
probably shouldn't have burned all of those bridges to trap him on that island.
Well, I was afraid I'd either be made out to be a hero or a villain, and I didn't really want to be either. Never mind the fact that people already didn't like me too much because of my implants. Some people really buy into that eyes are the window to the soul thing. So I figured I'd move to the big city, where the big crimes are, right? Lose myself in the hustle and bustle.
I thought it would be nice to have all of the big crimes.
Turns out I'm still a bit too much of a cowboy for the NSFPD, but I don't.
You can see them more clearly because they've enlarged them for you.
Most of the time.
It's very considerate. You'd think they'd make the crimes small.
Well, thanks for keeping tabs on me. We'll have to sit down for coffee after this is all over.
I will eat your coffee tonight. Right. How's the invest?
It's not going much of anywhere.
Oh dear.
I can't even start an official investigation, so my options are limited here. I've been reviewing traffic cam footage for hours, just trying to get a glimpse of whoever assaulted Hayden. My superiors aren't out and out grounding me, so there's that. But they still aren't giving me any more resources to work with. That means no extra manpower, no special tech support, nada.
Which means the culprit was most likely Superior Job. one of your superiors who is covering it up from the inside.
I'm assuming it's their way of appeasing the corporate overlords without actually being a bunch of corrupt pigs, but hey, I love a challenge. Just me in the streets is what I'm used to anyway. Plus, now I have you two.
Have you taken it up with Superior Lembus? He seems to be alright.
We are happy to assist in any way possible, Detective Rivers.
He's the superior who's on your side, and he's your person on the inside who's probably going to be tragically killed at the end of Act 2.
Your track record isn't great on that one so far.
Right.
He's not been shot at yet, has he?
You be sure to come back if you find something I can use.
None of this is advice for me on how to stop the war. So I just flat out did not get what I came for there, so I guess I've just got to go to Market Street and stop these men from taking a shit?
Well, there are the protesters.
That's fewer of them than I was expecting.
I have to admit that I still find the vandalism of Hayden's apartment puzzling. The protests themselves have been entirely peaceful so far, and the human revolution, regardless of the flimsy philosophical ground they stand on, are not a group known for projecting their ideology through unlawful means. The more I research them, the more I have to admit to the statistical conclusion that we're either dealing with a deceptive covert operation scenario, or less likely, a radical splinter group.
I mean, I'm glad you finally got there. It's just a little bit much for me right now to have been both sides, as expected, quite this quickly. Like, I'd braced myself for it. I'm just staring at the word "has" in the top right to ground myself.
Still, I doubt it will hurt to ask around. Brian Mulberry is there in the center.
The center of Mulberry.
He was the one to talk to, and my mesh searches confirm that he is the leader of the local chapter of the Human Revolution organization.
Local chapter, so not an overall man, then.
He's a bit player on the national scene, but he seems charismatic and camera conscious from the video clips I've reviewed.
Oh, he's a bit player, right? I thought you were accusing him of being somewhat player, and I was like, oh, for God's sake, is this another cyberpunk word that I need to know the meaning of now?
Perhaps we could use that to our advantage?
I didn't read the rest of the statement, so I don't know what we're using to our advantage, but here we go! It's nice of you to say that he's non-violent. They are projecting just flat out. Like, this is actual Nazi talking points, is what we're seeing here around him that we know he's directly responsible for. Here's Beaker again. What's Beaker saying? Beaker's just another one. More crouchy. Right, let's get this over with.
Hello there! Would you like to hear about the dangers of our country's unchecked use of genetic modification?
Oh no. Oh no, don't you do this to me. I know that voice! This... This is the most intensely difficult experience. Okay, this has now crossed over into the realm of absurdity, so, let's just go.
Pamphlets. Here, take one.
Thank you, I eat it. Tasty brochure. Yannick?
Yes, Yannick called and said something about an investigation into an apartment break-in. He didn't elaborate, and I'm not sure how I might be able to assist with this. But if Yannick is involved, I'll do whatever I can. How can I help?
We found Human Revolution graffiti spray painted all over the apartment, and some things were stolen. I was hoping you might be able to point us in the direction of whoever did it.
It was probably fake, though, so mind out for that information. You're going to have to find the fake human revolution, who revolve all the fake humans. They break into the department stores, go around spinning the mannequins. Oh, those shadows are other protesters, I think. Possibly. It just struck me that all of that's probably not a broken window.
Ah, well, the Human Revolution certainly does not condone such actions at all. We're a peaceful organisation, and threatening people is not going to earn us hearts and minds.
But,
Off
you know...
the record, some of our younger members can be a bit overzealous, as any hot-headed teenager tends to be. I'll look into this matter personally, and if I discover that any of our younger members were involved, they'll be turned in to the proper authorities.
Okay, I know...
I'll also let
Oh,
Yannick
I've
know
accidentally...
anything I find out.
Like, I read that as they will be turned into the proper authorities, i.e. the violent extremists will become police officers, and that's... Buddy, quick history lesson for you.
Is there something else I can help you with?
A big plum.
What questions can I answer for you?
I want a big plum, please. All the fruits. What's the ultimates? What's the ultimates?
We hope to educate the public about the dangers of rapid technological advancements. We want to warn the country away from thoughtlessly accepting every scientific discovery we make, before it's too late. We used to say that splitting the atom would surely bring about the end of humankind. But now we're changing the very things that make us human. Our biology.
Is that it? I thought you were going to go somewhere with the atom thing.
The revolution we're after is...
You're sort of glossing
humanity
over the
making
fact that
decision to
evidently
remain
it
as
didn't
we
bring
were
about the
created,
end.
and return to how we lived before genetic science put us on the wrong course.
Yeah, you've immediately started drifting into cult speak.
This world is Icarus, flying too close to the sun. It's only a matter of time before our arrogance becomes our demise.
I mean, that is true, but you've completely mistaken the course.
Just because we can, doesn't mean we should.
So you would be against me making my velociraptors, then? Jeff Goldblum has already taken me to task on this, but you know what? I do genuinely think I should. I think big dinosaur... Now that we know they may have been just big birds, I reckon we need more big birds attacking the public. Right, so that's all well and good, but why are you doing things that's stopping people from dying?
Genetic modification is one of the most dangerous sciences we've ever fooled around with.
Incorrect, Plato. Next comment.
It's playing God on the highest order and threatens to unseat what humanity is altogether.
Again, you're wrong. That's Plato you're talking about. You don't know where that stuff comes from. You don't know what that stuff comes from.
Cybernetics is a dangerous path as well, selling off pieces of ourselves bit by bit for mechanical strength and resilience. But at least a brain-controlled android is still a human brain, even if in a metal box. There is a reason Congress enacted laws prohibiting highly modified hybrids from breeding.
Don't twinkle at me like that's an endearing statement.
Now, I do not fault the individuals who come here for treatment, many of whom are disabled and deathly ill. If you ask me,
why are you blocking the entrance then?
The kind of therapy they all need. However,
oh God, are you about to pitch homeopathy?
Against the medical research industry that would have us cast aside our humanity for their miracles.
So you're not even going to pitch an alternative then? Okay. I was wrong, it was worse. Yeah, this is...
Our At our core, we are a peaceful movement and seek only to convince people to vote according to the truths we reveal to them. The human revolution has faith that American democracy will win out in the end. It falls to us to make sure that people are informed about the daunting and confusing technologies they put their senseless faith into every day.
You know what? I've changed my mind. Maybe this was deliberate. Maybe
On a
this...
personal level, we would like to exhort every individual to try and live more simply and reject any gadget or medicine that would make us less than we are.
And they are now taking swings at medication as a whole.
Is there
Okay.
something else I can
Okay,
help
then. Yeah, you can rot.
Of course, if you have any other questions, feel free to come back. I always have time for the press.
I'm sure you do. Alright, thank God for...
You
Well, not
clearly
you,
missed
but-
doing real journalism. I'm impressed.
I did. Thanks for always bringing
I
that
think
up.
you're starting to get back into the hard-boiled investigative journalist thing.
That mirrors something I said earlier in the real world. I'm noticing the egg. There is in fact an egg. Can I...
Hopefully
Egg,
we'll get
please.
lucky enough to turn up a new lead, even if this one didn't pan out like we'd hoped.
The lead of Pan leads you straight to James. It becomes hard work to... That's not going to... Right. Analyze.
I think he was considerably less deluded than my searches on the meshnet had led me to believe.
Oh, buddy. Okay, we're gonna have to work on that, but first of all...
Oh, well, he didn't appear to be lying, but I'm not equipped with interrogation sensors.
Well, those only allow you to sense interrogations, to be honest. It was wildly misleading. I don't know how they're still getting away with selling those.
You have more experience with this than I do. Do you think he was telling the truth?
I've actually only existed in this world for about, 4 hours in total. Through his teeth, I think... Now, here's the thing, in the game, I'm fairly certain this guy is telling the truth. In real life, this man's a liar. It's... That I've heard all of this before. It's never said genuinely, but I have this awful feeling that it's been presented as if this, yeah, just the fucking Trevor Belmont in the church going, my God, you really believe it, don't you? I don't think you're telling us everything.
I'll continue observing you and try to discern how to read people as we question them.
He seemed pretty quick to clarify that, any teenager would kidnap your friend and ruin his apartment.
A useful skill I find myself sorely lacking in.
I can teach you many useful skills, don't worry about that. As my new child, you will inherit the blade. So, we are going to begin your training at some
Lead
point
on.
there. You keep... Right, can
But
I...
don't forget,
Egg?
we're still here to actually break up these protests. Let's see if we can't figure out a solution together.
You've got me staring at this egg. I think this egg's the solution.
Make sure to look around and think carefully.
I'm
sure we'll
thinking
find
so
something.
carefully about the egg. Let me egg. Right, egg. It's a weather ROM.
Interesting. A RSU climate control ROM model 6703, if I am not mistaken.
I can make it rain on the parade.
Apparently it is owned by the Hassie Bar, based on this identification marker.
That was the name you landed on, huh? Okie dokie. What's...
Let's not. Two's company, three's a cloud.
That was a very good joke, but I need to know about how clouds can help me to win my freedom. What's in here, then? The Hassula Bar. A Crimph. Duck game. Alright. It's a sport? There's dramas. What's a good drama? Alright, no further details on that. I'm gonna finish a documentary explaining the queer side of virtual reality. Okie dokie. Where's the... That's just a... Blah! There was a Jingle Christmas living inside it. What's in here then? A drama about the world. Hello. Are you the you're a magical girl, apparently.
Aw, that is the most adorable little ROM.
That is
What kind
true.
of model is it? Where did you get it?
It's a secret one that I got when it broke into my house and tried to access my computer while I was sleeping.
It's so moe.
He's a snorkel, squircle. What's the... I don't want to... You know what, he is a gift, but I don't know if this is maybe slightly derogatory. Is it a custom model?
Oh wow, you don't see a whole lot of those around.
No, thus making the deception quite easy to pull off.
Must have taken ages to get that case looking that good, with the home printer too.
Yes, I had to print many homes until I finally got one that looked like a robot head.
Anyway, what can I get you?
The rain.
A drink I can do, and I guess I have some time to talk.
I love information.
The protesters outside the clinic are driving off a lot of my regular customers.
Is he twinkling at all
Filling
of
up my
them,
bathroom
saying
too, jerks. So,
they keep
what do you
throwing
wanna
all
know?
the placards down the toilet? I don't understand. You called Turing Mo? That's not his name. What's the let's establish yourself first.
I never introduced myself, did I?
You
I'm
never
Ramona.
did. Thank you, Ramona, for telling me your name, and I bless you with the sparkly wings. You've got sparkly wings now. I hope that's not a bother. I can remove them as quickly as I provided them. I just have to wiggle the fingers on my other hand.
I guess there isn't much to tell.
I wiggled the fingers on one of my hands to give you sparkly wings, by the way. I've just realised nobody can see me right now.
I went to college, got a degree, took out a loan, and bought this place. Now I spend my days trying to find enough time and money to sustain my VR drama addiction.
Would you like me to eat all of your debts? I can get them with my teeths. That's one of my other powers.
My priorities are justice, cute stuff, and magical girls. In that order.
Good. Those are good priorities. Can I have a hot cup yum 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 yum, please?
What else? I pretty much don't leave the store.
Oh dear. It's like you're an NPC fixed in place so you can be conveniently found and spoken to.
Look, they've got the right to protest, but I don't have to like it. Once they're done with the hybrids, I know they'll be coming for me next.
Have you done cybernetic? One of your arms is gold, I'm noticing.
So I'll be voting appropriately. And if I have to unclog one more toilet because I'm an entitled, bigoted jerkface, I will lose my goddamn mind!
What if it's one of their severed heads? Not asking for any reason in particular. Why would they come after you? Because of the clearly visible arm situation.
You can't tell? I've got a cybernetic arm and leg, thanks to an autopap crash when I was a kid. I also got neural links for VR interfacing. If it was up to those dinosaurs, I'd be stuck in a wheelchair right now. Or worse, depending on how far back they want to push our medical technology.
What about if it was up to my dinosaurs? I don't know if you heard, but just now I was talking about the fact that we need large birds to attack people. What are your thoughts on this?
It's already illegal for me to have a rocket-powered fist. What more do they want?
It's not illegal for me to have a rocket-powered fist. I think somebody might be bullshitting you. Where's the climate, please?
It does a good job, huh? Yeah, that's mine. Well,
What does one
technically, it's
do?
property of Hassey Holdings. We spent some mints on it, but the rest of the block helps pitch in for maintenance costs since I usually set it to patrol the whole area.
You can buy the power to control the weather for just 1 mint? How rare is extra gum in this universe?
You should check it out when we do Christmas in July.
I might do that.
It can cover the whole street in snow, as long as it's cloudy enough to keep the sun off. Sort of like today.
Mr. Freeze would very much appreciate such a droid. Have you spoken to Victor Freeze recently?
Sorry, but that thing
Wanna
cost me
beat it?
way too many credits to let just anyone poke at it.
You said you bought it for a mint just now.
I would need to see some serious credentials before I let you mess with it.
Well then allow me to disappear and mysteriously return with some.
You know, enough to make sure you can afford to replace it if you break it.
I will only
Otherwise,
break things if
no
I
such
think it is funny. My friend. Let's talk about how Turing is a cute little beepus.
Sorry. Otaku speak.
These BPs
I just mean he's really cute and lovable. And you kind of want to hug him forever, you know?
Small little friend for you to look upon.
A lot of otaku come around here. Probably because I own the place. I'm used to being able to shoot my mouth off and not explain all the jargon.
Now I knew what the jargon meant. I just want to say ha ha he ha ho hoo ha ha he hoo ha 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 he hoo ha ha he ha ha ho ha 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 hoo ha ha
But
ha
I'm a
hoo.
history buff. The past really gives context to stories of the present. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I've been to Tokyo.
And I'm
twice
not going
already.
to elaborate. Why have you hit me for Tokyo twice going? I hate Tokyo twice going. It's the festival they introduced where everybody just hits me for reasons nobody seems to want to explain.
The old otaku resist the new culture of the saishi in the same way their parents refuse to give up cassette tapes.
Cool. The site. Oh, okay, I do
Oh,
get to ask.
Sorry. The Saiba Shibito. The Cyber Dead.
Ha ha he who?
In the early 21st century, Japan had an epidemic of chronic shut-ins, and the rise of direct-link virtual reality only made that worse. Suddenly, people weren't just refusing to leave their rooms, they were refusing to leave their heads. But as the technology got better, the Saishi were the first to figure out how to use their own brains to sculpt cyberspace. Computers are good at thinking in straight lines, but the human brain is capable of so much more.
Yeah, the mind crystal, we've been there.
The best virtual landscapes, the most real VR dramas in games, are created by the Saishi.
There's a real conversation being not really had here around the, the sacrifices made to create art and whether or not it's ultimately worth it.
Now, even if an earthquake or a meteor or
I don't know
whatever
that-
leveled
oh.
Japan, they still have Neo Tokyo built on the VR net. But
Cool.
enough babbling.
Actual people will have died, but I guess it's cool that you've got all the buildings saved to a hard drive somewhere.
If you're interested, I'm sure you could find more out on the mesh, or use an induction helmet to visit Neo Tokyo yourself. It's a trip, especially for newbies.
I feel like I'm probably going to go there at some point in the story. I think that may
Okay.
be all.
Enjoy your drink, and let me know if you need anything else.
I don't know if I ever got a drink. You never explicitly let me get the drink that's A Hashi Rom. You look like a bounty hunter. You look like you might have made a good bounty hunter in another life. Oh, fuck me, that's about the length of an episode. Thank you for looking at all the benches. Tune in next time for more duck game tricks and tips. I'll teach you the sport, yes.